Well, Mr. Blake Buettner, great to see you, my friend. It's been an exciting 48 hours, I would say 72, call it. Well, actually, it's been even longer because of Dubai Watch Week, but
Yeah, it's been a
uh,
lot going on lately, right?
yeah,
It's good to see you too, but yeah, I feel like the last couple of months worth of races in F1 have been like pretty exciting, and as you alluded to, there's been a lot of like great watch releases and stuff.
yeah.
There's even a new watch release around the race in Las Vegas. I think Tag Heuer had new releases maybe for all of the U.S. based races. They got these like laser Monacos that they came out with
The
this
black,
week, very fitting for Vegas, of
yeah.
course.
Yeah, it's like skeletonized, right? Or like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
they
like
do
a
all kinds
Richard
of.
Mille collab.
Well, yeah, I mean they have all kinds of crazy looking variations of the Monaco these days, I feel like.
Yeah.
Um so there's a Monaco for for everyone, I suppose.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and all of the press releases I get on them always refer back to the one that Steve McQueen wore in the movie Le Mans and all that kind of the classic, right? So it's still kind of like banking on that to set the foundation,
Yeah.
and then it goes in all these crazy directions. So uh yeah,
Yeah.
Monaco for everyone.
Yeah, that's crazy. And good for them, I guess.
Yeah.
That case shape just has never been for me, though I think it looks cool. And when I see it on other people, I'm like, oh, cool. But like it's one of those things where you can appreciate it, but you don't have to own it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I think that's a great observation. I hear that from like a lot of people as well. A square
yeah,
case is really tough to pull off, I
yeah.
think, honestly. And
Mhm.
I'm with you. I think they look cool. Having it like sat on my desk would be cool. On
Yeah.
the wrist, slightly different story.
I don't know if there were any dimension changes. My scholarship on that particular piece, especially the vintage ones, is not up to snuff. But I would say, traditionally speaking, for some reason, the vintage pieces just look better than the brand new ones. And I don't know if that's color being slightly faded and it's not as like saturated and in your face, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, these new ones that they just released are 41 millimeters in diameter by 39 millimeters, and they're no, they're one of them is 49 millimeters, the other one is 39 millimeters. So those are the two, I think, like size frames,
Okay.
and then between 14 millimeters and 15 millimeters thick. But again, the square, it takes up a lot of real estate that's not normally being taken up by a watch on the wrist, so it just kind of like
Hmm.
feels like, unless you're used to it, I don't know. But these are titanium, so yeah, if you're used to it, you can handle the shape, then great. But yeah, it's not a shape that's ever really gotten along with my wrist either.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. I tell you that like dual Grand Sonnerie from Blancpain is that caught my attention, needless to say. I mean,
Yeah.
again, another sort of skeletonized aesthetic, but I think just like the function and having two different Grand Sonneries in one watch is I don't know that I've ever seen that before. I'm not saying it's a first because I'm not sure, but I've never seen it before.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy, right? It's I yeah, watches like this are maybe like a little out of my wheelhouse generally, but
Yeah.
obvious. And I don't say that as in like, I'm obviously not the buyer for it, but I mean just kind of like the watches that I generally kind of
Just
nerd
like
out on and get excited
yeah.
about and stuff like that. But I certainly like appreciate it. Like looking at a lot of the pictures that I've seen of this thing, like okay, this is it's cool that they're doing this. And I think a lot of brands of this stature kind of have to do things that can set them apart in any tiny way, shape, or form from all the other kind of like very high end, very expensive watches being released
Yeah.
right now. It's it's getting to be like a pretty full landscape of that kind of like crazy complicated pieces. And I think when the like as the economy's been doing whatever it's doing, I
Yeah.
think a lot of brands that have the ability to are kind of like leaning into the upper echelon of like higher end buyers at
Oh,
times
sure.
like this. So you're seeing a lot of these kind of like crazy releases come out. So but yeah, no, I agree. It looks beautiful. Um, yeah, maybe not something I'd wear with t-shirt and jeans, but
Yeah. Oh, but
but I
what a
certainly,
flex if you did.
yeah, exactly. Yep, yep.
I like that comment too about the upper echelon stuff. I find that this is happening in the car world as well. Like
Mm,
brands are really leaning into just like the uber wealthy, so to
yeah.
speak.
Yeah, it's as maybe the gap gets a little bit bigger between the haves and the have-nots at the moment. I think the people that fall into the haves category
Hmm.
have a whole lot, and
Yeah.
so you're seeing I think brands kind of react to that and really kind of like catering to their VICs
Yeah.
at the moment rather than try to kind of like win over conquest new customers in the sub $5,000 realm, sub $10,000 realm, even. I think you look at even the new Seamaster that was just released. That's kind of like okay, this is like a very premium dive watch now. It's just shy of 10 grand, and
Hmm.
looks very like a luxury product.
Yeah.
It's not like the kind of like bang around hardcore diver
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
Planet Ocean is in my mind.
Hmm.
It's like on a different plane now, for
Uh,
better or worse.
yeah. Yeah. Totally. Sort of on that topic of kind of upper echelon. Did you happen to capture or see the Porsche newsroom announcement slash I don't know, debut of where basically like the Special Wishes program of Porsche just did a re-release of the version 1 Cayenne. So
Really?
someone Philip Seraphin, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, who owns Myers Manx, he basically submitted a like Gen 1 Cayenne GTS
Uh-huh.
manually shifted
Of course.
back to Special Wishes, and they basically remade a Gen 1 Cayenne GTS in like this PTS green interior,
Yeah.
Pasha inserts in the seats. Like apparently it's like 350 grand to do this, but the Special Wishes program, like it's not going to be cheap, but someone I saw online was also saying like if they brought the price down, like this would be epic. Now, why this happened, how this happened, if Philip just reached out and was just like, I just prefer the Gen 1 aesthetic over the other. I really don't know. I need to do
Mm.
some digging, but it looks incredible.
It's interesting you say that. I guess the Gen 1 is not a design that I really feel like I see all that often, or even, I guess, really even think about that
Well,
often.
they're
You know what I
20 years
associate
old.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right. It's getting on there now. All I remember is the one commercial when the turbo version of it came out.
Hmm.
And the guy's like uh, on the phone with his buddy, and he puts the phone down on his driveway and gets in his car and starts like revving and then picks it back up and talks to his buddy. Yeah, incredible, isn't it? Because of the sound, right? So he like set the phone down by the exhaust or some variation of that, and that always
Yeah.
kind of like stuck into my boy. Car commercials used to be great,
Yeah, they
but
used
yeah,
to be.
but I remember like yeah, when the turbo version of that thing came out, it was like all the monster SUV,
Yeah.
like it's like it's here. That sounds crazy though. We'll have to find a link to that to show people.
Yeah. No, it's incredible. Okay, let's get into the F1 uh shenanigans.
My goodness, man, what a roller coaster of a ride it's been for the past boy, really since like Zandvoort almost.
Mm,
It's been kind of crazy. I think the last time that we talked about this kind of stuff, it looked like, Piastri's got kind of a hold on things,
yeah.
and Red Bull's kind of maybe in no man's land a little bit, which like figuring out what's going
Hmm.
on with their car.
Playing catch up, basically.
Yeah, and Lando maybe just like couldn't get out of his own way
Hmm.
a little bit. I think maybe the most consistent thing has been, you know, George Russell.
Yeah.
And like literally every other part of the grid has just been kind of like, I don't know. You might get Oliver Behrman in P5. He might finish P18 the next week. You might get like who knows? Like it was kind of like which has been honestly like a lot of fun because the whole midfield and like back half of the field, I think, has been like so competitive.
Yeah.
So you're seeing, I think, and like as the season goes on, you're seeing a lot of the rookie drivers like really start to figure it out. It
Hmm.
seems like,
And
but
then
yeah,
of
so it's
course
kind of
you've
like
got
all over the map.
Lewis all over the map as well, right? Like he
Man,
could qualify P3 or 12.
I don't know what is going on over there at Ferrari. I suppose there are many years you could say that exact
Yeah,
same thing with
100%. I
kind of
mean, it
like
wouldn't
what.
be Italian otherwise, right? Without
Yeah,
drama, you know?
exactly. And like, look, and he's not the first like world class drivers champion to go into a Ferrari at that stage in his career and like not be able to put it together. You'd think they'd have a super team by now with all these guys
Sebastian.
that have come through
Yeah.
and be like, okay, here's what it's like on all of these teams that we have won championships on. They could have incorporated all of these learnings from all these different drivers and had like a perfect team right now, but they're like, no,
Yeah.
no, no. Like
I
it's
mean,
not the
look, dude,
Ferrari way. It's not the Ferrari way.
it's the Yankees, right? Like the Yankees are the exact same way that, historically speaking, the budget through the roof,
Yeah.
like or roofless budget for that
Yeah.
matter,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
clearly through the roof. Um, and they weren't winning the World Series every year, yet everybody would complain about, oh, it's not fair. They got the budget. I'm like, but they're not winning, so why are you complaining? So,
Yeah, they might have like the superstar players that can hit a lot of home runs,
yeah.
but when it comes to like a sound team,
Hmm.
like and then it takes them playing somebody like the Dodgers or whatever,
For
and then it's
sure.
like okay, the clothes are off, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
okay, this is
Yeah.
like the jig's up here a little bit, but they sell a lot of jerseys, they sell a lot
Yeah.
of hats, and they fill a lot of seats, so
That's why the players get paid what they get paid. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean same goes for Formula One, I guess.
yeah,
But yeah, it's really interesting. Just sort of as a complete curveball to the conversation, no pun intended here. But might I just add, I love it when it rains during qualifying, but not the race.
yes, yes,
I
yes.
absolutely love this scenario.
Me too. I feel like it's happened numerous times. I feel
Yeah,
like Canada maybe last year or the year before,
Montreal always. Yeah.
and you get like this like a totally topsy-turvy starting grid.
Yes.
And when I tell you in the free practices that it was kind of wet or transitioning from wet to dry, I did have that kind of feeling. Oh, this is going to be great. This is
Yeah.
going to be like all over the place. And Lewis was like at the top of the times every time. It was
Well,
like, oh
he's
wow,
great in the
he's like
wet. Yeah.
he's putting it together, whatever it was. And then it kind of like reverted to the mean a little bit. I feel like
Yeah.
this time out. But I'm with you. I like that kind of thing. To really kind of like mix it up. And it's like a lot of the veterans do really well. Some don't apparently,
Right.
or some people just can't get their cars together in the way that they need to, or get the tires in the right window. I think
Hmm.
this qualifying was different because it transitioned to like using a full wet tire, which I feel like we never see on the cars. And I feel like maybe the teams have no idea what their car is going to do on it. And it kind
Do
of
you
felt
think
like
that
that a little bit.
Do you think that was a byproduct of, well, not only just like how wet it was, obviously, but because it's a street course and not like a track, like a circuit?
I think there's certainly a lot more unknowns when it comes to this particular street course.
I don't
Because
think it
it's
drains very well.
doesn't might not drain very well. Also, this is the third year of the running on it, so it's not like people and it's not a consistent track. Obviously, like they just cobble it together for this weekend, and
Yeah.
that's that, and it's going to be like what it is. So, you're kind of like constantly learning throughout the weekend, and it was mixed conditions through I think most of the practice sessions. So it's not like I think they could have a normal run plan of, okay, we're getting like setup learnings here, here, and here, so we know what's gonna. It was kind of like by the seat of your pants a little bit,
Do you?
right?
Yeah, yeah, totally. As you're talking about it, my brain's going a million miles an hour because it's like, yeah, it is the only third year. And then on top of that, you've got what's never like it's not you can't just go drive it in the off season, right? Like um so basically the question I started to generate in my brain is I wonder if there's like inches difference in like where the wall meets the track from a year to year. Remember, have you ever seen that clip of Ayrton Senna where he was like barely going past this wall and like somebody clipped it on one of the laps, so he hit it and it took him out of the race and he goes, "No, that wall moved." And they were like, "No, no, 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 that couldn't be." And somebody went and back and looked at it and it had moved like a centimeter or
Oh
something.
man, because he was so locked in on where.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like this is what we see throughout the practice sessions, right? Because the times come down, 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 down,
Mm,
and they're like learning where they can push every single time out there.
right.
And with a track like this, again, it's new. This is still like a new, and especially for the rookie drivers, it's like
Hmm.
they're exploring. All right, if I take this angle around this corner, like when can I start picking up the throttle?
Yep.
Like, and how early dare I, and how close is that going to put me to the wall? And you hope you get to like a point where you have some confidence in where you're doing that. And I
Hmm.
think there are a lot of turns here, and then that really kind of like turn 14 or whatever, like you want to push it, and you need a great launch out of the corner to like get the speed that you need up to the up to the line. And with the missed conditions, we saw everybody like trying to find that, and that everyone would kind of overshoot it a bunch of times. And I think that's part of the plan,
Yeah.
because then okay, well, I'm going to pull it back another 5 meters, another 5 meters, push it another 3 meters, whatever it is, until you find that kind of like exact time. And I wonder if it's the same when it comes to tracks like Spa
Hmm.
or Spain, or like tracks that have just been the same way forever. They've been on the calendar forever. If the drivers know exactly, every single time they can show up and know, okay, I know what I can do around this turn. I know where I can get on the throttle here. They talk about that, and I think they did with Brazil the other weekend, because they had resurfaced parts of it or rechanneled certain parts of it. So it was like the drivers had to, like, obviously it's a super old track. All the drivers know it really well,
Different types of grip.
but they had to kind of like relearn how the car was going to go around these certain areas because of the changes that they had made to the track. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I wonder what the difference is. I mean,
Because
obviously, street
they can't be that surgical about it when it's a track like Vegas. Like there's no way you're putting the walls up exactly the
like
same
exactly
places.
where they
You know what I'm
were.
saying?
That's a good
And
question.
the walls are same with Singapore, right? Like
Yeah,
I mean, the thing is like there it's temporary. There's not a lot of runoff, right? I mean, Baku, geez, like
yeah,
tight, tight,
yeah,
tight,
yeah,
Baku's a little different because I think it's like the buildings are right there, so the wall can't be, you know what I mean? So like,
yeah. And
uh,
Baku has some like weird, like little kind of back and forths, and
yes.
the Vegas one has those as well, where
Hmm.
like you really got to set yourself up properly, like 3 corners prior, if you want to make this one last corner perfectly, right?
That's so
Otherwise, you're coming
crazy.
out of it at some weird angle or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating. Remind me, was it 2 races ago or 3 races ago that Max started from pit?
That was in Brazil,
So
so
was
that
that
was
the
the
two?
race prior
Yeah, 2 races ago.
to this. Yeah,
I mean, look, I don't want to sound like I'm becoming a Max fanboy, but like, here's the thing. That guy, eh, separating the man from his driving ability, like unbelievable performance.
yeah,
And I think we've talked in another podcast too about, like his GT3 performance at
yeah,
Nürburgring.
yeah.
Like just the guy is a maniac, right? Like
Yeah,
it's an exciting time as a race fan to be watching this guy do these things, and I can't
yeah,
wait for him to be in a Le Mans car. Like
yeah, yeah.
I actually I'm rooting for him to win all this shit because I'm paying attention, right?
Well, that's the benefit of it. I think in I of course I feel bad for what happened to McLaren yesterday.
Unbelievable.
And I think that is also to go back a testament to them not getting the right learnings of what the car was going to do on the surface throughout the
Hmm.
practice sessions. So
Hmm.
they didn't have the setup ride height like exactly where it needed to be. Uh, but anyways, that sucks. That stinks that that happened. But at the same time, it's going to make for a mighty interesting final couple of rounds here
Yeah.
of the season. And I think Verstappen, maybe this season more than any other, has earned a lot of respect from a lot of people who, maybe in like 2022, 2023, were kind of like, oh, whatever. And seeing him do his thing, kind of like in his prime right now, is
Yeah.
I mean, it's just immensely impressive. And then, like you said, layer on top of that the GT3 type stuff and his ambitions in these other realms, and that he seems to be perfectly capable of keeping the same level of competitiveness regardless of
Yeah,
what
like kicking
he's
ass.
driving.
Yeah, I mean,
Unbelievable,
it's
like
just like crazy.
truly unbelievable. I still think he makes some questionable decisions sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
Spain contact with George Russell, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Who knows? But and he's
Some
not
late
one to,
breaking from time
yeah,
to
some late
time.
breaking, whatever. But like he races his own way, love it or hate it, and
Yeah.
he makes like no apologies for any of it. And lap one, turn one of Vegas was like the exact, like, all right, see ya. Like I'm taking this position, and
Lando
like
really screwed that because, like, obviously he missed his breaking point. And but honestly, he was too tight. He couldn't have made that corner, right? Like, even if he had braked in time, I feel like it was too sharp. So he was going to go wide regardless.
Yeah, my thinking here is if I'm Lando, I'm thinking like, look, my car has at least as good a pace, race pace.
Hmm.
So I'm not going to compromise my corner trying to defend him. If he gets ahead doing something stupid, whatever, he gets ahead. But I'm not going to compromise my line. I can at least kind of stay close, and then I know that my car has minimally as good a race pace as
So
his car.
get him in a DRS zone,
So
for
I'll get him in
example.
the and there's
Yeah.
lots of places to pass on
Hmm.
in Vegas. So, but instead, by being like overly aggressive to defend, he almost lost a few positions like right off the bat. And like I don't like it just wasn't worth that kind of a risk. And also I'm thinking in like the calculus, like Piastri's, a few spots back from me. So all that I really care about is getting through this first lap. Um like without compromising any of my lines or my race and not making contact. If I lose a position or two, fine. I just got to keep him behind me and run my race. And I know that my car has a good enough race pace to get to the, top one or two by the end of the race and like trust that instead of like that shows me like a lack of trust in his car, his ability or something like that to do that, to like to so aggressively cut across like that. I
Well,
was like, what are you
I th
doing, man?
I think it's a pressure, it's a in the moment, it's a reaction above all. Like you kind of maybe don't know what you would do unless you're in the situation.
Look,
But also
easy
the
for us to
turn,
say sitting on the
yeah,
couch,
yeah,
right?
right, sure, sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Monday morning quarterbacking quite
Yeah.
literally. But it's one thing like um when you're looking at the type of turn it is, right? Like when you look at Austin, when you look at Vegas, it's such a tight first turn that
Yeah.
even if you're going to take it normally, like a little wider and then hit the apex, you run the risk of getting T-boned. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
Max was definitely on pace to set that bowling pin up should that have panned out the
Yeah.
way that
Yeah.
I described.
Look at
Um,
Bortoletto. I mean, he basically did
well,
exactly
that's
that
exactly right.
and took out other people and
That's
you know,
exactly right.
like, oh, look, I've got an inside line. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
And then, oh crap, the Vegas line is a little different because of it. Like it sets up turn two as well. So it's like you have to like you cannot compromise the position. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't understand. I would have taken a more conservative approach to that. And of course, it let George Russell kind of like right in anyways.
Yeah. Mr. In
As
the three
well.
spot, it just seems like he's perpetually there,
That's the meme online, right? Like
Right.
George Russell do nothing, P2, P3,
Right.
whatever. Like
Yeah, let the
he's
drama unfold 15 seconds ahead of you
yeah,
and take a trophy home every weekend.
and just chill. And then Leclerc never seems all that far behind, but it seems like he's like working like a dog for it,
Well, yeah. Oh, and
like
and then also just like from a point standpoint, like you look at George and you're just like, wait, he's like right there too in certain respects,
Mr. Consistency.
And it's
Yeah,
just like insane. Yeah, the whole snafu of what the skid plate, right, being skimmed to or the at least the floor of the car being too thin is
yeah.
why the two papaya cars were unfortunately escorted, exit stage left here.
Yeah, and this is not the first time that we've seen this in recent seasons. It's been a few times we've seen drivers disqualified for this exact thing.
Sure.
I think the first time I remember it um, in recent years was Lewis at Texas,
Mm.
maybe a couple years ago. I think
Too
he
much downforce, bro.
was just was disqualified for it, and it's just one of those things. Like these are the cars that want to be run like as close to the ground as possible, so they want to like push it. And you can see it. You know that Ferrari is giving a lot of the lift and coast orders. Like that's the joke, right? And that's why their pace kind of like disappears at strange, weird times throughout the
Hmm.
race, and they're not able to like be competitive when they need to be competitive.
Yeah.
And then obviously McLaren team knew that this was a likelihood, and you saw Lando's pace drop off like a rock towards the last like 5 laps because I think they were putting it together. Oh crap! But even earlier in the race, you could see some massive sparks coming out of the bottom of that car. Like you knew
So
it's
with
gonna
the
be rough.
lifting coast, that this is the point you're making?
Yeah, because if on those big long straights, you're up over 200 miles an hour, right? The downforce, like it's shoving the car down into
Oh
the
no,
ground,
exactly. But
right?
on the announcers were talking, this has to be brakes, right? Because it's not fuel because of the safety car,
But I think that
right?
was their coded
Right,
language.
right,
Like,
right,
hey,
right,
we're
right.
worried about this because they know that everyone can hear,
Yes.
right? But I think that was like kind of what was, especially in hindsight, know that like, yeah, that is what it was. So yeah. one of those unfortunate things. Obviously, not the driver's fault, and
Wait,
not
but they
necessarily.
how would they know that? Like, is there can't be telemetry on that, can there? Or something that measures the height of the car and the pavement?
I feel like they get. I don't know how, but they get like a pretty good idea of that
That's
kind of stuff.
insane.
And it just like how much fuel needs to be left in the car. Like there's all these things that they can like map out and calculate, right? I don't know how they're doing it with the barge board though.
Yeah, I was like a fuel gauge would take care of how much fuel's in the car, but
Well, it's
like
all like it's like a calculus, right? It's
no,
like a
no, no,
rate
I
of it's like
understand.
a
Yeah.
planned rate of change and all that kind of stuff.
It's just
Even as
crazy.
like the conditions of the race change, and if you're pushing harder or whatever, like it must be something similar that they're able to do with this thing,
Hmm.
to where like in the last 5 laps, they're like, oh crap, you, you know,
Man.
um, yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts. Absolutely crazy. All right, so how are we feeling about the end of the season then? Because honestly, like, and going back to the earlier part of this conversation, Piastri, it seemed like he kind of had a grip on things, whereas like Lando was like one mistake after another, and then Max is slowly playing catch up. Now it's kind of like if anything happens to either McLaren driver in these last two races, be
Yeah,
it a crash or otherwise,
yeah,
Max is just like,
yeah. I don't really have a dog in the fight. I'm not like diehard fan of any of these guys.
right, same.
And I think it's interesting because it's not like Oscar has just started making a bunch of weird mistakes. Like I think he
Mm-mm.
has made some mistakes. He's gotten some unlucky penalties, uh, but it just seems like the pace isn't quite there.
Right.
Like inexplicably, it just seems like he's a little bit slower
Is
now,
this
and it's like
within the
what's
team? Is
going
this
on?
is this politics?
I think that's the kind of thing that maybe gets in his head. Maybe you get a little paranoid. And then it starts to kind of like feed on itself. And I don't know. And then you start making some I don't even want to say silly moves because I think he's made some moves that have gotten penalties that were maybe on the cusp of like deserving it or not.
Hmm.
So he's had maybe a little bit of unluck, but even just setting all that aside, it just seems like a pure race pace just isn't quite the same as it had
Yeah.
been on that competitive level. So, so now looking at the last couple of races plus the sprint race, it's like based on that, it's like hard to see him coming out of this even in P2 in the drivers championship. Like now that he's tied with Max in points, it's like, oh well, surely like Max has a lot of momentum. They, even if the car seems to be like on shaky ground through all the practice sessions, they seem to be able to get it into the window that it needs to be into well enough for the race. And then you put Max in there, and it's like, well, he's going to do Max things, and he's going to be right there. So,
I wonder if that's
but
just his ability to adjust. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, because it feels like it's probably not the same issue every
Well, that's
race.
that's. I mean, a couple of things, right? Like, look at what he's been able to do again in the other types of cars and the other leagues that he's still competitive in, and then looking ahead, I think to next year when the cars are like totally different. Uh, that will be kind of like okay. And now he's still in his prime. Is he still going to be as dominant?
Right.
Is Red Bull even going to hit the engine? Like, who knows? There's so many unknowns going into next year. I'm so excited about next year,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, yeah,
It's gonna be,
same.
it's gonna be like a clean slate.
One more thing about
I don't know.
Oscar, do you think, and this is all speculation, but welcome to podcasting. The you know, do you think he's trying to chase an advantage and doing his car a disservice? Obviously you want the same equipment as your teammate, right? But you also
Yeah.
want to beat your teammate. So you get in this sort of teeter-totter of do I meet him so that I can beat him on ability, or do I like try to find an edge, mechanical grip, design, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, more wing, less wing, to try to beat him with the equipment or both? Do you think he's tweaking the car and then coming up short?
I wonder if there's something about the pressure that has caused him to shift how he approaches the weekend as a whole. Because I think what he had become kind of known for this season in the first half of the season was his methodical approach to building on his setup in a way that like built his comfort level
Hmm.
throughout the weekend so that he was like kind of peaking right into qualifying.
Yeah.
And you might not see him at the top of the times in FP1, FP2, FP3, but by the end of qualifying session 3, that's when he's kind of like peaking and hitting and hit. So it's almost like now he's into his own head, maybe too much, where he's second guessing a lot of those things. Whereas earlier he was kind of taking a more methodical approach to every practice session, building, 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 and not feeling the pressure of I got to be fastest here, I got to be fastest here, I got to be fastest here, and but rather taking the approach of what am I learning towards a better setup? What am I learning towards a better setup? What am I learning? And then like combining all of those things into qualifying and then following through with it in the race. And now it seems like he's maybe chasing something like, oh, well, I gotta be matching these times, these times, these times, instead of just doing his own thing. And I mean, I don't know, but it kind of feels like he like it's gotten away from
Mhm.
that kind of trend for him, which is so. And then seeing some of the things that he's maybe alluded to in the media or the press about where's the performance gone and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It's
you hear about this in golf where it becomes a game of inches and it's the inches between your ears.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
complete head game, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and but that's the other thing because he seemed like the guy that was kind of unflappable,
mhm.
like very cool, very kind of like yeah, it's no problem, put the pressure on me. I'll got it. I'm just gonna go about things my way.
Yep.
And he still seems cool, but it seems like it's getting to him in a different kind of way that we haven't seen before, and
Yeah.
that is maybe affecting him in ways that we wouldn't have foreseen earlier in the season.
Well, I mean, he's still
Um,
young. Lando's definitely had more seat time, you know.
He's still young. Is still in his third, he's this third season here. On the broadcast, David Coulthard was saying, because this was asked of him, and he said, I felt like it took me about 5 seasons to really kind of live up to my like full potential and
Oh,
like get
wow.
my full skill. Of course, when he was kind of in his prime, the seasons were a bit shorter and stuff like that. So,
Hmm.
so maybe next season is when we would expect Piastri to kind of hit that like okay,
Stride.
fully matured stride. Yeah.
Yeah.
And not all drivers are like that though. And but he seems like a driver that needs to kind of like just build and build and build and learn. And that seems like kind of exactly what he's doing. You have other drivers that might seem like phenoms where they can maybe put it together quickly, and then crash and burn. I don't know, like Hadjar or Antonelli might fall into that. Like they've got just flashes of brilliance this year. And Antonelli, the last few races, I've just been immensely impressed. His drive yesterday, unbelievable. I think.
Yeah.
I just cannot explain how impressed I was with his drive because he put those tires on very early in the race and held his pace, like with the top runners in the late stages of the race, like an absolute veteran.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I feel like there's something there that you can't teach that he was able to kind of like put together throughout the season.
Yeah.
And as he's maturing, I feel like, and if all the rumors are true of Mercedes kind of like nailing the engine regs, you know, next season could be very interesting for Mercedes. It could be
Yeah,
like
for
a
sure.
2016 situation, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I think they're gonna have a couple. Like if they've got the best car, they're gonna have two of the best drivers on the grid potentially.
Yeah. I mean, what more can you say about next year? It's going to be exciting. I think I'm actually kind of curious as to like how the drivers are feeling right now. Like, are they excited for it? Are they like, with say Oscar or somebody like, God, I was just getting used to this one, Like it was
Yeah,
like,
I feel like you can feel that when Lando talks about it. Like he seems to have a sense of this is my window of opportunity right now. And like if I don't take advantage of it, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get it back again.
I was having this discussion yesterday with a buddy. I was like, look, Max can win next year. I don't care. I want this for Lando because I don't think he'll have another opportunity.
Yeah, and if he wins it, certainly deserving of it, I, in the season, I think it's been I don't know. I mean, it's tough for Oscar and all that kind of stuff, but I think Lando has really kind of put all the pieces together when he's needed to, and he's come up with like the big laps when he's needed to, the big stints when he's needed to. Like he's done the right things.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be upset for him to win it. I think if Max won it, it would be, yeah, I don't know, where it would rank kind of in terms of like kind of the all-time great comebacks.
Yeah.
I think he was 100 points down, more than 100 points down in coming out of of his home race in Zandvoort, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
it would certainly be a remarkable accomplishment if he did. If Oscar ended up winning it, I think that would be very impressive as well, and I think he'd be certainly deserving. So yeah, I mean, I just hope we see a competitive like championship right down to the line, like 2021 style, but with
Well, we've
hopefully a
got
different kind of ending than 2021.
yeah, I mean, we've got two races left, as mentioned. We've got, was it Qatar and Abu Dhabi, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's
the
right.
first one being this weekend, right? Isn't it Sunday?
Yeah, the first one is this weekend,
And then when
and
is
then
Abu
and
Dhabi?
this is and it has a sprint race
Oh, it's back to back.
as well. And so, yeah, the triple header to
Yeah.
uh, is it is and then Abu Dhabi's
Yeah, it's the
right.
30th and then the 7th,
There we go.
which is crazy. Back to back to back. I mean, for Qatar and Abu Dhabi, that makes sense. But like going from Vegas, man,
Yeah,
that's a
packing up from
haul.
Vegas and going. Yeah, I don't know. If
Jet
you're a
lag.
driver, if I'm a driver, I'm like heading over to that part of the world like right now to get my body kind of like
Oh, after the race, just get me
situated.
on an airplane. Yeah,
Is that what they do you think? I
they
don't
have
know.
to.
How do they deal with all that?
Well, a lot of times it's like I think I've heard Lewis in interviews talking about it and where like his sleep pattern is just like crazy. Like
Yeah.
you just got to figure it out on the airplane. And this broadcast isn't, brought to you by Ativan, but it's something's got to work on on the jet, you know what I mean?
Something's got to work on the jet, and that's they've got the physios and Lord knows certainly enough money to figure
Well,
something out.
and honestly, that is one of the beautiful things of flying private is like you get to take off and land, you fly when you want to, and so
Yeah.
um yeah, it's kind of crazy, but yeah, that's a management system, the circadian rhythm part of it all is kind of nutso.
And Lewis is he's no spring chicken anymore.
Is he 40?
He's 41.
41. Okay.
Yeah,
What
dude.
an old guy.
And yeah, I know. He's, I know he's younger than me, and talk about him like he's ancient. I don't know. I've just been like, I worry about him. He seems like such a sensitive guy, and I feel like we've asked each other this a few times this over the course of this year. Do you think he regrets the move going to going to Ferrari?
I think from a week in, week out standpoint, yes. Do I think when he checks that checking account, I think it's probably okay. But
Yeah, 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 yeah. He's probably sleeping just fine
yeah,
in regards to what we.
the JP Morgan investment account is doing just
Yeah,
fine, I
I'm
think.
sure it's healthy. Yeah, he. I mean, I wonder what's going on in his head. If he's kind of
I think
like,
he's
all right,
checked out.
like, and it feels like this whole regulation set just has not been for to his liking at all, and he just hasn't been able to get along with the cars. And every season, he's kind of progressively gotten into like I don't know, you know, weirder and weirder territory.
Yeah.
But surely, I mean, 40 like even if you lose just a little bit of your instinctual like how quickly you can react and run on instinct like
Yeah.
even just a tiny little bit that's all it takes to be losing time in these races like I think it's the is it having an effect on his ability.
Well, and also let's just sidestep the conversation of dirty air, but just having that many cars around you, like you're like, how bad do I want to crash? Like I'm just chilling, like yeah, I'll pass this guy then, but I'm not going to be aggressive around the whole lap. I'm going to
Yeah.
pick my spots. Uh, I mean, why bother, right? Like when you're qualifying 12th and you got to fight the entire weekend, right? And you're 41 years old, you're cashing big checks. By the way, because time is nothing but a construct ever since COVID, like what is this his first year at Ferrari or second?
This is this is this is his first. year. You know what it
Okay, I
feels
was
like?
like, I
He
literally could not remember.
he announced the move to Ferrari at the beginning though
Yeah, it was
of the
August, right?
2024
Oh,
season.
that's right. That's right. It was
Right? Like
a
coming
whole
into
season
it.
ahead.
So the
Yes.
whole season you knew. So that's why it feels
Yeah, that's
like
why it feels like
in your
two.
mind
Yeah.
he's been associated with Ferrari for two
Yeah.
years.
So
But this is
I'm
his
not
first season.
entirely crazy, Blake, but like I'm yeah, I just
Just a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, for those of you listening, I hope you my daughter is to my left, so hopefully she's keeping the noise at bay. So but
Not a peep.
it's one of those things with Lewis, I think he's just kind of on cruise control, you know?
And
Like
but I wonder if he's like, okay, like I'm gonna just like go through the motions and
yeah,
get
why
through this
fight it?
year,
Like
and
just
then just kind of hold out hope that Ferrari like nails the next set of regulations and like really go all in for 2026 and then like go out with a bang and that's that.
this is a surfing analogy for those of you who surf in the world. But when you get pounded by a wave, like let's say you wipe out, right, while surfing, you can't fight the wave, right? Like you just got to play dead, let the wave take you. Don't expend too much energy. By the way, I'm talking about like when you get held under, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. You
it
can't
does
fight it
it does your body no good. You're using way too much oxygen if you're trying to fight it. So it's just like just play dead, go limp, let the water do its thing, which is Ferrari, mind you, in this analogy, and let them chew you up and spit you out quite
yeah,
literally like a wave does, and then just paddle back out there next year in 2026. Like I
because
think
he's and by doing that you're conserving your energy,
that's the
right? Like
move.
for the next, otherwise
That's
you're just wasting it against the
emotionally, if not physically. Like just
yeah,
don't physically don't drive as hard, and then you're
yeah.
conserving that energy, and then emotionally is probably even more important.
And I don't mean any of this to like downplay Leclerc because I
No,
think he's like by all means probably in his prime as well and like an exceedingly talented driver.
totally.
I can't imagine what his frustration must be like
Yep.
with so I mean maybe for the both of them it's kind of like okay,
Mm-hmm.
probably for a lot of drivers on the grid. Okay, let's see how the cars kind of like pan out, how the teams pan out next year. You know what? This is why I think earlier on there was some kind of chatter about what is Verstappen going to do? Is he going to step away from Red Bull? And I thought like they're I wouldn't have been shocked if he like took the year off, do other kinds of racing, see how the like where the chips fall in terms of what team really has their stuff in order, and
Wow.
then going into the 2027 season, anybody would take him and then just say, "Hey, I want to sign with that team." And go on and win another like four titles, right?
What a take, man. I didn't see that coming, Blake.
Because now, like
That's nice.
I legit worry about Red Bull because they're changing their whole engine program over to a partnership with Ford,
Yeah.
and
I
it's
mean,
been
the
a while
Taurus is a
since.
pretty hot car.
Yeah, yeah,
Just kidding.
dude, yeah, the SHO Taurus just toss that sucker right in the back of
So
the
sick.
in your
Yeah.
you're
Straight
good
out
to
of
go.
94. Yeah.
Like they haven't been involved in F1 in a long time, and this is a I don't know. I just worry that it's about what the state of affairs is going to be like for four teams like that. I think that also Cadillac could have a better first year than some people expect.
Audi. I'm excited.
Audi Sauber seems to have gotten their like their stuff in order, right? Um, Hulk and Bortoletto have both like I don't know, the car just doesn't look like a complete like back marker now. It's
Right.
like it might qualify in fifth, it might qualify in sixth there, or they might have the brace pace to get up into seventh or eighth for the race, like legitimately.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that was another team earlier in the year. I was like legit worried about. I was like, man, is Audi just going to back out of this because that team just looks like it's in no shape.
Did
Um,
you see? I can encourage everybody. I think it's on the Audi Instagram account. It's like a video, unless this was like a YouTube short. But if in that event, it should be like on Reels or something. But it's Audi talking about their race history and
yeah,
like
they
going
just
through the
had an event like
motions.
last week around all this stuff, right? When they
Yeah.
unveiled the kind of like base livery,
And they brought out all the,
the auto union, all the
generations.
way.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
union and, obviously like the rally car stuff. And it's like, oh,
mhm,
they said you needed 6 cylinders. We did it in five. And, stuff like
yeah,
that. Like it's a
yeah, yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
cool little spot.
I mean, they have an amazing legacy,
Yeah,
history of racing.
unbelievable.
And not just, I think it's easy to just kind of like think recently about Le Mans and the dominance that they've had there over the past, 20 years. Maybe not recently because they haven't been into it, but they had stretches there where they were, unbelievable. And obviously the rallying stuff, but then even going back much further than that, they've got a great legacy. So I'm excited to see, if it's with a team like that, really kind of like, hey, we're committing to this,
Yeah.
to see what they're going to be able to do. And same with GM and Cadillac. I think it's a serious move, and I don't think they're doing it just for vanity points. I should say. At
And
least I hope
for
not.
Hulkenberg to establish that relationship, like post retirement, like what a great brand to associate yourself with. I think about this all the time with Mark Webber and Porsche. I'm like, that guy
Yeah,
is living the life.
dude. Yeah, and now he's like managing one of the great F1 drivers, and he's in a great spot. Yeah, I think a part of me was a little surprised that Signs didn't go there just to like really head up the Audi project and set that up the way that he wanted.
Yeah.
I know it would have taken maybe a year of pain this year,
Hmm.
but like going into to next year and the following years, it could have been like his team to run. But it seems like he really believes in the Williams project, and they're another team that just seems like they can't get out of their own way these days. Like as good as the car has seemed some weekends.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. Do you have a team that's been kind of like unexpectedly the most fun for you to watch this season?
This season,
Yeah.
I
Like
don't know. I
maybe
mean,
a midfield team
well,
that you weren't
like
expecting to kind of.
Bortoletto has flashes of brilliance,
Yeah.
I mean, Antonelli, you're just on the edge of your seat, So, like, as a
Mm.
team, you think of Mercedes, obviously an IWC fanboy over here. So, like, I'm always paying attention a little bit to Merc, but like, it's one of those things where, like, I am a Ferrari fan and I'm so
Yeah.
tunnel vision that I'm just watching the race for the race. And then
Yeah.
it's like, who finishes where? And then it's like, what is Charles doing? Because I haven't given up on Lewis, but I was a Kimmy guy before, I was never like,
Yeah.
and I think if I were British, I'd probably be a Lewis fan, right? But I'm not. So,
Sure.
and that's no shade in any direction whatsoever, but it's just one of those things where like I want to see Ferrari compete. Uh, and Lando's such a prankster. I feel like he's grown up a lot. He's matured a lot. I do want this for him. But really, it's not team dependent. I think it's more driver dependent. To answer your
Mm.
question,
Yeah.
it's more
Yeah.
like watching Bortoletto, watching Antonelli, watching these like young bucks like do their
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, the
You know,
rookies this season I think have made it a lot of fun to watch, and I
yeah,
think they've I think all of them have had really great flashes in them, and I hope they all. It seems like all of them
hmm,
will have at least some longevity in the sport,
yeah,
maybe some more than others. But I think for me, especially thinking back to the very beginning of the season, I remember preseason testing, Hamayo Komatsu saying that he thought maybe his car, this is the TP of Haas, was that he thought the car was broken, like because it was in that kind of a sad state of affairs.
yeah,
So seeing their team kind of like the ups and downs of Haas this season has been really entertaining for me.
hmm,
But more than that, even I think Oliver Behrman has been a lot of fun to watch, like
yeah,
develop, and some of the races that he's been able to put together. Yeah, I think have really impressed me as well. I think Behrman, Hadjar, Antonelli, those three guys, I feel like could be like a real future. And I should even saying that, I don't know, like Bortoletto's in the Sauber. I don't know. Like that's what I really wonder. If any of those guys were in the Mercedes, like Antonelli, what would their season have looked like?
right.
I don't know.
Well, it's
It's
just
been
funny too with like a Hadjar, for example. It'll be like Q2 and he'll be like in fifth. And then
yeah,
you're like, oh, but then the other cars like unlock themselves, let's say, and then take another, 6/10 out of them.
yeah. Well, that's the car that I think like has like it's a stable platform,
Yeah,
but the rate, but it like in race pace trim is just like not
right.
really there. I think,
Yeah.
but certainly both Hajar and Lawson are capable of putting in like great laps, and both of them have been kind of entertaining to watch this year as well.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, totally.
but yeah, I think with Antonelli and with guys like Antonelli and Behrman have probably exceeded expectations for what you would have expected for them to be in those seats
Hmm.
this year. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about what Antonelli might do here over the next couple of seasons and to watch him kind of develop further.
Yeah. January will be interesting seeing these new cars unveiled. But yeah, we still have these two races to go. Um,
Yeah.
Qatar is, how old is this track now? So again, I'm on this like time thing. Um,
Well, yeah, what is it?
oh, you know what I'm thinking? I was thinking Saudi Arabia. Isn't the Saudi track like 2 years old?
Is it? I don't
Was
know.
that the one that they just unveiled as like the new track a couple years ago? Wasn't it Saudi?
Let's see here. The
Why am I
Qatar
losing my
Grand
mind
Prix
today?
that was first held in 2021.
Okay, so maybe it is Qatar, is the one I'm thinking.
This is the one though that I think
Is that the one that like
maybe
has the
they
huge
altered
hill that was
they
like
like
artificially
altered
built?
the layout of it in 2021, right?
Okay. Is that the one with like the
Like
lake that runs
like
right next to it?
maybe it's Lusail. Um,
It's
is
either
it?
Qatar or Saudi Arabia that had like that strip of water right next to it, and they had
Oh,
to like
are you
move it.
thinking of Jeddah?
I don't know. I can see it. I don't know the name of it. Very much like when I meet new people, I'll tell you your life story, but I cannot tell you your name. Like, I'm awful with names.
Let's see here. Jeddah Corniche. Let's see here. That has its
Somebody's at home
inaugural.
shouting at their like,
Yes, yep.
their radio.
That also that broke ground March 2021, opened December 2021, and its first major event was in the Formula One, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in 2021, and yeah, and that's the one that yeah, that's a bit earlier in the season. This is the see what jogs my memory is looking at the layout of it.
That's what I'm
I'm like,
saying.
oh
Like I'm not
yeah,
looking at the track. Like
this
I'm
is,
not.
and I remember this track because it's where Behrman stepped in for Signs when he was ill
Ah,
last year at Ferrari because it's earlier in the season and
mhm.
like finished P6 or 7 or something like that and like had a great race.
Okay. It's not this track. I think it might be the Saudi track actually. It's the Formula One, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's the Saudi track, I think. That's the one with like the strip of water next to it. I'm zooming in on a map here. Epic conversation now. Sorry guys. That's got to be it. It's the Saudi track. Um
Uh,
anyway.
if you're a fan of Gran Turismo, the video game, though, they are putting Abu Dhabi circuit into the video game
Oh really?
in and the Canada circuit, Montreal circuit,
Really?
Villeneuve is going into the game as well, both December 4th or 5th, something like that,
Man,
along with a handful of new
I
cars.
haven't
So,
owned a game console in 20 years.
dude,
The original Xbox. That was my last game console.
the original Xbox.
I
Wow.
got that for Christmas from
Dude,
a
there's some
then
great games out
girlfriend.
there.
Yeah.
This
Dude, yeah, no.
and it's popping into Gran Turismo to like run a few laps is a great like kind of I don't know
Introduction.
stress reliever. It gets your mind off of like okay
Oh,
if
I
you're too
see.
deep in one thing, and you can do a few laps, do 5 laps or whatever. It takes 15 minutes, and it's a great like kind of just release.
This is Blake's
I've found.
meditation, folks. Like this is
Yep, I'll
his
go in and I don't like I'm not competitive. I don't do online stuff or anything like that. Like I'll just get in like a time trial and just do
well,
laps,
if
just
you're
me.
if you're competing and meditating, you got bigger problems.
Yeah, there you go. I'm the best at it. Dude, I
Um,
like it. I like it.
dude, well, just wrapping up here. We're gonna flip the script. What's the wrist check now? End of conversation wrist check.
Dude, yeah, I'm wearing a Tudor FXD.
I thought that's what that was.
This is the Marine Nationale blue dial, but I've got the black bezel on it from the black FXD. I've got the bezels like
You
swapped out.
swapped
So, yeah,
a little black and blue.
little black and blue. Yeah, I think it works pretty well. What
What
about
is
you? Well,
what provoked the switch? Just trying
just
something new?
changing it up. Yeah, seeing what they would look like, and they can yeah, and they swap around. I mean, since I have both colorways, I thought I don't know.
I feel like the black bezel on a blue dial would look better than the blue bezel on a black dial. Am I wrong?
This for somehow makes the watch feel a little bit smaller.
Yep.
And it's like the inverse on the other one, but I think they both look really good.
Interesting.
I
You'll
have
have to post a photo of those side by side.
I do have a picture of it. It's in my Instagram, so we can put a link to
Oh,
that
okay.
in the show notes.
Sweet. Nice,
What about you?
buddy.
What are you wearing?
Oh, I am wearing the Porsche Design Chronograph 1
Thought that's
for
what that was.
Hodinkee.
Okay, excellent. I love this watch.
I picked this watch up pre-owned because I couldn't afford it when it came out, and it was just awful timing when it was released. I
Who
was
can
like,
afford watches new? What are
right.
we? Made money.
And it was just one of those things where I was like, yeah, I was like, I hate that I can't buy that watch right now. And then one came up it's earlier this year. Again, no concept of time. Could have been January, could have been June. Don't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Um, and I love it. I absolutely love it. What you know what's funny about this watch actually is because of the faux Tina, if you will, on the indices here.
Hmm.
Wow, you had to have heard that. Um,
I didn't.
because of the faux Tina, sorry folks, baby Kaya. Um, when I see a regular one, the regular one, the normal chronograph one, the white indices are so bright.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
bright.
Very high contrast on the regular one. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great platform of a watch though, and
Yeah.
just
I
spectacular.
love it. And the bracelet, all black. Um, all right. Well, I'm gonna have to wrap this up because I gotta feed this baby.
All right, you feed that baby, and we'll have to do this again post season and do
Yeah.
kind of a
Yeah, we
full
should absolutely
look
wrap
back.
this up. Do like a season wrap up.
Yeah, I would like that. Well, thanks for hopping on today. It's always
Yeah, buddy. Thank you. I'm
fantastic to
so
talk.
glad she held out for the most part, but now it's it's time to go. Sorry,
As
guys. Sorry
usual.
for the noise.
No, she's
All right,
great as
buddy.
usual. All
All
right,
right.
take care.
Thank you, sir.
Bye bye.